the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bet on the exact order of the top three here and get some pretty good value on it if you think you know how it's going down. Julian, it sounds like you do. Walker, Hutchinson, Stingley is the top choice at plus 190. So is that your top of the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I know everything. They don't even have to have the draft. I can just go walk to the podium and give out all the picks. No, it gets a little more complicated. This is definitely one of the most open drafts we've had in a long time. We've had Trevor Lawrence at the top, no brainer. Last year we knew 3 quarterbacks in a row. It was going to be Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance. We've had Joe Burrow at the top of drafts, and then it was obviously going to be Chase Young after. We don't know as much this year, but it sounds like the Lions have been planning to go, they've been looking at everybody, but they thought that Hutchinson wasn't going to be on the board. And now that he is, it sounds like they're going to go with the hometown defensive end there. So if we use those guys as the top 2 picks, I'm buying into the hype that, could the Texans use an offensive lineman? For sure. They could use a lot of things. They stink. But I think most of all, they're looking at cornerback here. And Lovie Smith has said as much, that they need to add to the room here. And there's a reason that Stingley is picking up all this steam. It's because Houston really likes him. So I think that you have to go with the corner at 3. So I'll go with any top 3 combo here that gives us Walker, Hutchinson, and Stingley. And then maybe if you want to split them up, you go Walker, Hutchinson, and Sauce Gardner as well. Just in case the Texans are blowing a little bit of smoke here, to keep people away from trading up for Sauce Gardner, who very well could be the best player in this draft. So maybe they're trying to go with another corner here, but I think they're going with one of the 2, and you can play both of those. And you see the Stingley one already picking up steam. It was 190 just this morning. Yeah,
Reid, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Stingley at plus 190, it's still a really good number. Even if you're waiting, right? Like Julian is saying, it's already picking up steam. But I'll go on the other side of the coin and look at offensive line and Ekwonu at plus 330, right? With the assumption that Walker and Hutch go 1-2, which we all think that they will. That's pretty good value. And you talk about what Lovie Smith said. We always talk about this, right? You just mentioned Emerson. Like, the head coach wants something, the owner wants something else, and the GM completely is in his own world. And that could be the case here with the offensive line as a must in this, on this team. If Davis Mills is your guy, which it sounds like it is, you got to protect him. It doesn't matter who you have on the outside if the opposing team is just running because they're up 25 points in the fourth quarter. It doesn't matter how good Sauce Gardner or Stingley is because he won't be defending anybody. You need to protect your quarterback. You need to score in this division. And if you're Houston, even getting Evan Neal at plus 1,300 with Hutch, at number 2 and Walker at number 1, that could also be the case as well, right? So I think there is some value in this number 3 spot. I'd rather go offensive line there.
All right, Steve, how do you want to approach this?
Yeah, I'm with Reid at plus 330, getting Walker, Hutchinson, and Ekwonu. I think it's just some really good value because, as Julian alluded to, there's so much openness in this draft once we really get after pick number 1. We really don't have like a solidified way of how this is going to go. So if I'm going to be betting the exact order here, I think the value at plus 330 is significant. And also you have to think about too that the Texans did get a contract restructure with Tunsil, but he can opt out after this year. So if Ekwonu is drafted, he could realistically take that spot from him, and they already don't have to get a replacement because he can play right tackle, he can play guard. Like, he is a multifaceted player, and this was somebody that for a while was touted to be the number 1 overall pick. So now if you're the Texans, you can grab this guy at 3. That's some pretty strong value right there. So I think just from a value standpoint, getting that at plus 330 is something you have to consider because there's so much openness in this draft.